Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Welcome you all to the first talk here at OSMC this year. I'm attendee for 15 years now, right in the early days, the wild early days. I talked about Icinga 6-7 years, the time before COVID, and talked about how we implemented Icinga in DATEV in our company. But times change, as you all know. And observability, if I get every time €1 when I hear observability today or AI, will be a rich man. So what do I want to talk about today? It's observability and how we think we are on the right path in our company to get it done. And get it done does not only mean we implement tools and technicality and IT, but also doing something else to get the power on the road, die PS auf die Straße, like we say in Germany. And it was kind of 10% luck, 50% skill, and 40% concentrated power of will, if anybody of you know this song. This was we had the call of papers in June. At the moment, I think it will be more even split. 33% luck and the rest accordingly. So, of course, I will tell you something about DATEV. No, that's a lie. I will tell it. I will show a very short video, but I found it quite cool, so I skipped or dipped my Folien, my slides, Jesus Christ, and and built in a little film. Like it was already said, my name is Gunter Geib, Gunter in English. Lead architect I'm doing monitoring stuff about over 20 years now. Observability, the new thing, and the very latest thing I'm working on is AI Ops. Maybe if we have time, I will go into this topic also, what it's meant and what it's all about. You can join me, feel free, at LinkedIn. I'm there, I'm always happy to enlarge my network. So DATEV, we are based in Nuremberg. And we are the, last I checked, third biggest IT software company in Germany. I think behind Microsoft Germany and SAP. But what it's about, Mats up.
Who exactly is DATEV? First things first, DATEV is not normal. This company is not all about profit, maximizing returns, or shareholder value. Because DATEV is a cooperative.
What?
Not that kind of cooperative, but rather an IT cooperative.
What on earth is that?
The IT cooperative DATEV works on behalf of more than 40,000 members in tax consulting, auditing, and legal advice. We develop software and IT services for their firms, just like any other ordinary software company. Not this ordinary, more like this, or this. Unlike a regular IT developer, we create software for our members and their clients. For example, for him, her, or for them. Her, them, and for them, too. Over 2.5 million companies in Germany benefit from DATEV software in payroll and accounting because it offers possibilities that go far beyond the normal. Because DATEV software connects all the important players in the economy into one ecosystem. Tax consultants with their clients, with public authorities, institutions, and with banks. All this business data comes together here, in the DATEV cloud. And even that doesn't quite conform to the usual, because the DATEV servers are not here, or here, but here. Cloud computing made in Germany. Also not normal, but highly sustainable. At DATEV, advice also goes beyond the normal, because for our more than 8,500 employees, their focus is on the satisfaction of more than 40,000 members. Together, we take the pressure off companies, guarantee up-to-date information, and simplify lots of business processes. More advice, more software, more partnership. For us at DATEV, that is normal.
And as you can imagine, all these services we provide to our customers are built mainly on IT, of course. And this is true even for the founding days into the year 66 when the cooperative was founded. The challenge was nearly the same, to keep these services up, to ensure the availability and the performance. The DATEV data centers, as you heard here in Germany, are the basis of these IT services. The availability is of utmost importance. That's true in the year 66. That is true now. That will be true in the next decades. As you all know, this directly transforms in corresponding benefits for our company and for our customers, for the cooperative. But times change. We went from big mechanical built things called computers, more mechanical than software, to nowadays new parameters. As you all know, we are changing from on-premise. I guess I say you all know because that's not only a data thing, that's a common thing in the industry. From on-premise traditional architectures to online architectures, cloud architectures. We have distributed partners, apps, services, SaaS everywhere. The whole internet is our playing field. Not only because we choose so, because it's a necessity, because the world around us evolves in this way. We have to adapt, like Darwin said, or vanish. And of course, AI, I said it, containerization, virtualization, XYZ as code. Everything is code, from the network definition to the traditional applications at all levels. We have to handle this, and as you can imagine, to ensure the old challenge, ensure the performance, availability, security, etc. pp. is in this environment far more complex than in the old days. We have to adapt or we vanquish. And we do it too. We do it now for a couple of years, the DevOps mindset. I think most of you know what this means. This means that a DevOps team who is responsible for building a product is not only responsible to implement it, to program it, and then throw it over the fence, like we say, and give it to the operations guys. No, it means you build it, you run it. You have an end-to-end responsibility for your product, from the first drawings on the paper in a restaurant, for example, when the new idea manifests, till the out of service time when it comes to throw it in the bin. I kind of hinted why we need observability. I get often asked, observability, monitoring, this a new thing, just a new name? I think it's kind of is. AWS has a nice, I recommend to read their definition about observability and monitoring. It's quite nice. In a nutshell, monitoring, they say the when and what, the why and how, all right. I say, I want to know what's going on with my stuff in the cloud native age. And we saw at DATEV, we have a huge monitoring portfolio, right? iSinga is there, Splunk is there, AppDynamics is there. We even thought we can make it better than the world. We did some own developing about monitoring tools, and for quite a part, it worked very well in some niche. But we see now, if we have all these different things with monitoring tools, it will be extremely cumbersome to configure them in such a way that you can see the whole picture about how your product is doing. That's the reason of observability was started as a project 2.5 years ago, I guess. And the idea of observability is to instrumentate the IT, the apps, the IT as a whole, so you can get a whole picture. Tracing, in my opinion, is the most important stuff about observability because it brings the information sets together. You can see and observe the journey, for example, of your application from the first click in the customer's browser to the last access of a database far, far away. I will just show it. This is the, at the moment, tool stack. Very much is going on, and it's wise to say too many tools. Of course, traditionally we hosted most of them ourselves, and as you can imagine, you need for every tool expertise, you need for every tool resources, etc. pp. Every tool wants to be patched, every tool wants to be configured, every tool wants to be automated, every tool wants to be self-servicized, etc. pp. etc. pp. The costs of maintaining and providing this tool stack goes through the roof. We're going to change that. So how do we get observability? We buy a new tool and we're done, right? Right. We want tools. No, sorry. We need to change the mindset of our people, of our partners. What I mean by that, I will go into further details later. And we need, of course, new technology tools. But it's less hard. How to get it started? We started 2.5 years ago with one big thing in our minds, in my mind, that's standards. Because we saw when we have very proprietary tool sets and solutions, it's very hard for partners to adapt to them. It's very hard for new employees to adapt to them. It's not easy. It takes a long process to get into working. That's the reason why we showed on the market, and that said, okay, we need something most of the folks we are potentially working with maybe already knows, or at least have a good clue about it. We made a lighthouse approach. I didn't start the project and said to my managers, hey, I'm here to save DATEV, I do observability, give me my resources, all you can get. No, we made the lighthouse approach. I think most of you know what this means. We built a prototype, we accelerated fast in the project, and to shine to the DATEV and look at us, that's a solution how it could be done. Observability, please adapt, and convince them through effectivity. Then I had a small, effective and eager project team. Die hatten alle Bock. They were very stoked to work on this new thing, observability. And what we also did at the first couple of meetings, we included our potential users, the DevOps teams, stakeholders from the get-go. It wasn't something the monitoring team built in their own little cave and said, hey, we have the solution, you have to use this. Forget it. Yeah. Widen the scope on the fly, that's the lighthouse approach. And be bold, of course, always be bold. But we were bold, we said, this is something the whole world does. That's a killer argument. Even for the furthest away manager, you can say the world does this way. And the best thing is if this is really true, and this was true. because there comes something along the way, a little project, the second largest project in the world, called OpenTelemetry. And this was a game changer and a door opener. So I kind of touched these points a little bit. Use of industry standards. That's in today's time, because at the moment, even at DATEV, when I began at DATEV 25 years ago, it was a privilege. You have to be invited to DATEV, because there were so many applicants for the open IT positions at DATEV. It was, wow. Those times have changed too. And if you have solutions in your company with, where the know-how is widespread and you have a wider availability of resources where you can take employees or even partners, consultants, documentations, etc., pp., it's by far better to have a solution in place which is well known all over the world, or if it's a very specialized proprietary solution from a company which is very seldom used in the wider picture. We wanted to use software as a service because I want my guys at DATEV, my monitoring guys, to transform away from maintaining, for example, Omnibus or Isinga clusters, to patch them, to make them work more into design solutions beneficial for our users and customers inside of DATEV. Away from Linux admins or Kubernetes admins to solution architects for our customers. And one parameter we also wanted to do, observability as code. That's a short term for automate as much as possible, as much as feasible. Though, kind of naturally, we landed with Grafana and the observability stack. Grafana doesn't do things better than, I don't know, Datadog or Dynatrace. They are all cooking with water. Yeah. But Grafana has one, in our opinion, one big selling point. That's exactly the point I mentioned just about a couple of seconds before. It's well known. I guess there aren't many opinions again that Grafana is, for example, the most distributed tool to look at IT data on this planet. I just say it. Nearly every IT student comes out of the university and has worked with Grafana, with Prometheus, etc. pp. So we started with Grafana Cloud. We wanted SaaS. The offer they made, the service they are doing, convinced us, but of course it doesn't say that we are not moving away to on-premise installation, maybe at AWS, to have the independence of our infrastructure in the future. I don't know. At the moment, we are quite happy with Grafana Cloud. And then comes this OpenTelemetry thingy. Okay, I will ask it. Who knows what OpenTelemetry is? Who is using it? All right, there is much headroom. In my eyes, it's a revolution taking place right beside the time we started our project. Many parts of OpenTelemetry went into stable, and that's the luck part of my title of this talk today. A big part. The second part is that I had such an powerhouse as project team. Those two factors were the big luck part. All right, OpenTelemetry is an open standard contributed by nearly everybody. I don't know if you can see it. Here's Splunk, Microsoft, Amazon, Dynatrace, Google, etc. pp. They all contributed to building these open source standard for telemetry, because if they do not adapt to this standard, they are gone from the market, at least for observability matters. That's the principal architecture we went with, and we will widen the scope into DATEV. We have on the left side the hotel collector. It's, as I said, not proprietary. The applications, the whole IT of DATEV is instrumented with OpenTelemetry, and the traces, metrics, logs, profiles are sent over the OpenTelemetry framework to Grafana Cloud. If we decide, maybe in 2-3 years, I don't know, we are no longer happy with Grafana Cloud for whatever reason, then we change the backend. But the instrumentation of DATEV IT, the apps, the Java apps, thousands of apps, the whole IT infrastructure which is instrumented, doesn't have to change and will not change because it's instrumented with the open standard, OpenTelemetry. Instrumented means they are telling about their feelings, about their status and themselves. Logs, traces, and logs, traces, and metrics, exactly. And this, you can remember the picture I just showed you about the tools, too many tools, right? Many tools. This is, broadly said, the target architecture you're going to follow. As you can see, I removed all product names because I don't know what will be the products in the year 29, maybe. But one thing, at least from today's standpoint, is here to stay: OpenTelemetry, the red one. Okay, now we have a good idea what we do with our tools, with our technology. We learned OpenTelemetry is the thing to go. It makes us independent of the observability platform. That was easy. Now, after we get it started, how do we get it rolling? How, with rolling, I mean, how do we get our DevOps teams to the point where they want to use it? They are eager to use it. They can't live without using it. All right. We have to bring the observability into the mindset of the DevOps teams so they see it as a product feature. We have to convince our product owners. They have to make a big green tick behind the product feature observability. What does this mean? This means their product is observable, is sending telemetry, has good dashboards, has good incident processes, has good ITSM processes. How do we get this done? Integrate. I'm still speaking about what we did in our project with architect circles, enablement teams. You all have that in your companies. Operation centers, existing developing communities, and of course the management. To plant in the idea of observability, what can be done, and how important this is. You remember the thing I said, the whole world is doing it. Many of the fundamentals of observability is done by AWS and Google. Those are names manager like to hear. Integrate with them, speak with them, convince them, provide and ensure seamless user experience. Our customers, if they have to click here, that, and it's awful to use, this is true for every solution for the last 30, 40 years, then it will not be adapted and worked with. So our goal was and is and will be to provide a seamless user experience. I kind of touched it already. Automate what's possible or what's feasible. Not every bullshit has to be automated, right? That's my opinion. If I use something every 5 years to automate it, I have to do 20 work days as labor. It's not good. That I mean with feasible. All Grafana cloud features should be used. That's also sexy because I don't want to provide a solution. You can use this, but this is not paid for, and this can be used on Monday, and this can be used on Tuesday. No, you don't want this. You want to give them your guys the full package. And the last thing, and that's a kind of where we are, like we heard in the little movie, we are not normal. We gave our DevOps teams, everybody their own Grafana cloud environment. Everybody has their own stack to can also live the whole DevOps idea. As you remember, end-to-end responsibility. They can do their stuff how they want. Also in observability, they can do this. And we came up with a solution and we worked together with Grafana professional service there to give them their own Grafana cloud environment, but also to solve the problem when everybody has their own environment, they all have their own data stores for traces, metrics, and logs. How do we get them together? And the solution was and is they all send into a combined tracing data source. So they share their tracing information, and everybody can benefit from it. So, of course, that's to be complete. We went on with a managed community idea. We are not, as a monitoring division at DATEV, we don't know better to instrument a Java application than a Java developer. That's bullshit. But our job was to bring together the different developers, Java developers, the different network suppliers, the different, I don't know, database guys. So then when the one Java developer has a problem, he speaks with the other Java developer. Hey, how did you instrument this and that? How was this done and that done? Which metrics do you use to present to your workstream and not? And our job as a monitoring team was to bring them together. That is what I mean with managed community, right? For part, we went from monitoring cracks to community manager. That's true. To bring them together. Of course, training programs, best practices, documentation, and I don't know why I forgot it or didn't write it down here, the internet. We're using standards, as you know, as I mentioned. And that's also a good thing to say. We don't have to tackle in our documentation standard stuff with this, which is documented under, I don't know, OpenTelemetry.io. Yeah? We don't use proprietary solutions. We don't support them. And if you have questions about, I don't know, SSH arguments, you don't look at your documentation in your company. You go into the internet and look there. And this applies here. All right, now, observability. We heard we have the tools. We heard how we have to change the mindsets of our users. We want the product feature observability, so they take responsibility for this feature as for every other feature of the product too. And we are very good at it. We are ready, 100% done. Nobody believes me, I know. We have to measure something. How far is observability done in the company? How good is it done? I don't know. I have a feeling. Yeah, feeling don't help me, no? And that's why we made good efforts. We are not done to measure the maturity levels of our DevOps teams. How well they are living the observability product, feature, idea. That's for the mindset change, like I said, the harder one. Because we have to potentially talk with every developer or DevOps team in DATEV. You heard we are about 8,500 employees at DATEV. Kind of about 3,000 of them are DevOps administrators, SREs, etc. And we have to convince them all. I don't know. It's a hard thing to do. So the maturity level, this is first drafts and ideas. This is done via self-assessment. We looked up how is Grafana, what is doing about maturity levels at Google, AWS. This is what we came up. For example, level 1, that's the entry level. Are your apps even instrumented? Do you use metrics, logs, etc. pp. And it's go further and further. And level 3 is the only product feature regularly reviewed. Is the success proved? And I always say level 4, level 5. Level 5 is, did you achieve world peace or something like that? I don't know. Let's see. It's better than nothing. It's important to say you have to build a baseline as fast as possible, that you can see where you have started, and then you do a new assessment every, I don't know, every year, or every 6 months. Don't do it every couple of days, because then the DevOps team will kick you in your, yeah. And the same applies to the platform. As platform, I mean we are a service provider for the whole Grafana Cloud open telemetry thingy, for the managing the community, etc. pp. And we ask about the platform happiness of our users regularly. The same thing applies. Do a baseline check as fast as possible, and then I hope work your way up. We went with, I think, with school grade system here in Germany. 1 is very good. I always got 1s in school, and 6 is very, very bad. So, what did we learn on our way? The project is over. We did our project work, and we are now regularly supporting our observability platform in our monitoring teams. I guess we have to change our team name from monitoring as a service to maybe observability as a service. I don't know. But that's not the most important thing. I guess you can imagine from my talk, the hassle with technology, it's a well-known hassle, right? We all do it over the last years, decades, and we're kind of good at it. But the hassle to cultural changes, mindset changes, the whole DevOps change is a cultural change. We are part of it. This is new. Also new as me, I'm an engineer, right, from education. I don't work in mindsets of people naturally, but I had to adapt and had to learn. There's no master plan for changing mindset, because there is no this DevOps team or this DevOps engineer at DATEV. They are all different people like you are too, and to tackle them and to get them to to get them on your side, the light side, not the dark side, it's not so easy. And I had to learn so much about working with people. It was astounding. Sometimes frustrating, many times frustrating, but it was very interesting. That's what I already had mentioned, start as soon as possible to measure things. Even if you ask your customers, hey, make a smiley, great, right? A smiling smiley or a crying smiley or a neutral smiley. It's better than nothing, because else you will be working on stuff nobody needs and nobody uses and nobody is angry about. That's the worst thing. You change something in your stuff where the people are quite happy with it. So, 10% luck. This I already hinted. That O11y came around the corner when we started our project. Because else we would have implemented an instrumentation proprietary, for example, an Splunk instrumentation or an Grafana instrumentation or something like that. I had an awesome project team. Shout out if you can see me in a couple of weeks here at YouTube. 50% skill, rolling out the IT assets. From our natural feeling, we were all more in the Linux administrator or Linux server space. We learned handling Kubernetes. We learned handling Terraform and automation platforms. We learned handling legal matters, because data in the SaaS, for example, DATEV, as you heard in the short movie, data is the most important thing. Not quite right that data security is, especially. And it can be that trace informations, exception informations have informations in it, and they go to, for example, DATEV Cloud, where they are not supposed to go. And that all this is legally correct and sustainable. We had to do so much stuff with DSGVO, Datenschutzgrundverordnung, and with our legal teams to make this all waterproof was quite astounding. And the power of will, of course, is all the talking. The talking, the convincing, the learning, proving again and again and again, again. To get this done. To summarize, it's not done. You all know this with install.sh. And you have your tool. You have to provide your tool with a good user experience, and you have to convince the mindset, the heads, and the hearts of your users. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gunter, for sharing these valuable insights into one of the largest companies in Germany in this field. So very interesting from my perspective. We have some time for questions. So if you want to ask Gunter anything, I will throw this microphone to you. Here we go. Hoping this works.
Hi. Did you handle dynamic instrumentation in stack?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Did you handle dynamic instrumentation in the stack, or did you only handle static instrumentation coded in the software?
I guess you mean auto instrumentation?
Yes, and O11y.
Yeah. We provide both possibilities to our users. What they are then choose to instrument with is their whole responsibility. But most of them, as I understand, are choosing or start with auto instrumentation.
All right, let's try this out.
All right,
I'm
now
sorry.
we're talking.
So how does your landscape roughly look like? Which part of it is containers, Kubernetes, which part of it is traditional servers, virtual machines, stuff like that?
At the moment, I guess we are at, no, we are containers, and for our applications are nearly 100% containers. But a good part of it is still in the not cloud native environment, in a classic data center environment, where different processes apply. But that's what we are shifting from this classic environment to the new cloud environment, where where everything has to be instrumented, where everything has to be automated, etc. pp. Yes.
Thanks.
So with the alerting, I saw many tools that are capable of alerting, like iSinger, Omnibus, and Parts as an umbrella, and now also Grafana Cloud. So which one is a top level, and how do you manage it, or is it?
Yeah. At the moment, Grafana Cloud and our observability will be a central focus point. And I guess we will use Grafana On-Call as alerting tool. Because of, I don't know if everybody knows of Grafana On-Call, it's an up-to-date alerting tool. The app is awesome, it's easy to use, and our DevOps teams are fallen in love. And that's one of the things. Even if, here, I'm Gunter, I have a better tool. You have to use this. No. They already have fallen in love from their own. They had their Grafana stack and that, oh, what that's On-Call, I tried. Can I try it? Yes, you can try it. And they have fallen in love. And I guess we will provide a centralized solution for our, for example, iSinger events. iSinger detects something, the event goes over Omnibus from IBM to Grafana On-Call and will be alerted to our on-call teams.
Thank you.
You mentioned that you had a single database to store everything in. Do you use like multi-tenancy? How do you solve? Do everyone get access to everything?
This single database is for traces only. Okay. So everybody, for example, the database supplier, and a database is booked by a work stream, and the database supplier or service provider ensures that this database is configured or instrumented in such a way that when the app of this DevOps teams comes to using this database of them, then the trace data of this using is sent to a centralized tracing stack. So everybody who wants to see what was this trace all about when the customer clicked in his browser in the application and the database access was established. As you can imagine, he comes from the browser to the API gateway, to the front end, to, I don't know, security gateways, etc. pp. Those are not all in the responsibility of the DevOps teams who provides the application the customer is using. So everybody is instrumenting their part of this journey of the application through the data center. And they have to ensure that this tracing information, which says, hey, I'm used by this guy, and the next one is in the chain is this guy. This tracing information is not stored in the context of the DevOps team, but in a global DATEV-wide context. So everybody can see these trace formations.
Is storage a problem for you? I would imagine that there is a lot more data nowadays when everybody is logging metrics and traces.
Absolutely, and the data is increasing more and more, and now here comes the SaaS part. How is the cost model of nearly every SaaS in this environment? It's ingest. So to say, you have to pay for every bit you send to Grafana Cloud. But that's a two-sided sword, because on the one hand, you want to educate or convince or getting the idea of that in the heads of your users to have to send this data, so much data you need, but so few data as possible. That's the one thing, and the other thing is, quite nicely, I have to say, Grafana Cloud, I think they are the only one who are doing that. They have adaptive matrix logs and traces. Grafana Cloud is helping our customers to identify data they don't use and to purge this data. And the best part is you don't have to pay for this data. That's quite a nice feature. This can't be found at Splunk, for example.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Gunter, once again for these insights and giving this presentation. Yeah, we will move on at 10:30 in this room and also in the other rooms. Please check out the program. It's on the doors. What do you want to see next? Grab a coffee, relax, and we will move on in 15 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, Gunter.